All right, so everybody, we are going to begin. So welcome to the first educational webinar for 2022 with United Spinal Association, the Greater Philadelphia chapter. We're really happy you could be here tonight. And we are also very happy to have our hosts, but also our sponsors this evening, in the Inglis organization. We're very lucky tonight in that we have 5 different speakers to talk about the Inglis organization and also all of their different community organizations. So with us this evening, we have Peyton Vinson, who is the Program Development Specialist, and she focuses on outreach, partnership building, and program growth within the community services programs. She was previously a supervisor with the English Journeys program during its launch in 2019. Prior to joining the Inglis organization in 2017, she supported individuals in their substance abuse recovery and mental health wellness as a recovery coach. She holds a bachelor's degree in social work and in her spare time enjoys hiking outdoors, practicing yoga, and playing with her puppy, Lucy. In addition to Peyton, we also have with us this evening, Maria Bell, the Journeys Director, Jamie Moshe, the Senior Director of Programs and presenting on Inglis Assistive Tech Solutions. We also have Nicole Anders, the Director of the Connections Day Program. And then we also have Liam Marmo, who is with the co-director of the Self-Determination Housing of Pennsylvania. So we'd like to thank them for being here and also for their very generous sponsorship. And I will turn the screen and microphone over to them.
Thanks, Megan. I am just gonna double check that everything is good to share my screen. Okay, can everybody see? Yeah, okay. Thank you for hosting us, Megan. Thanks to United Spinal. We're really excited to be here tonight to talk a little bit more about Inglis and our community-based programming. Like Megan said, my name is Peyton. I'm the Program Development Specialist with Inglis, and I'm joined by a few of the directors of our community programs who will speak individually about their programs and go into a little bit more detail. But before we get started with our community-based services, I'm going to just talk a little bit about Inglis as an overall organization and just give you some more information about us. So Inglis has been around for a very long time. We're widely known across Philadelphia as a provider of long-term residential living for adults. We're best known for Inglis House, which is our skilled nursing facility. And we were founded in 1877. So we have been around for a very long time. We have a long-standing history of supporting people in need. And we, for a nearly century and a half, have been supporting people with disabilities live the lives that they choose, where and how they choose to do so. Oop. Sorry about that, wrong way. Our mission, our organization's mission is to enable people with disabilities and those who care for them to achieve their goals and live life to the fullest. Now, we've obviously grown and expanded over time. Over the past 50 years, we have focused a lot more on our community-based services. We recognize the growing and diverse needs of the community overall, and we really strive to meet those needs of the larger community through a variety of programming that we offer. We now roughly serve 1,000 people a day, which is a long stride from where we first started. So we basically have 3 key programmatic areas of focus. That's Inglis House, which I just talked about. That's our skilled nursing facility, our long-term care wheelchair community for adults 21 and older. Inglis Housing Corporation, which is the largest private developer in the Philadelphia area of affordable, accessible, independent living apartments. We have nearly 400 apartment units, and we currently have 11 properties with plans to open a 12th later this year. And then there's Inglis Community Services. That's our collection of programs supporting people with disabilities who choose to live independently and that's stationed out of our Innovation Center. Just a little bit about our Innovation Center. So we have, like I said, we've grown in a lot of ways, but we've also grown in the building that we operate out of. So people who are local to Philadelphia typically know our Inglis house building off of Belmont Avenue. It looks like a castle. It's clearly not from this century, but it's very cool. But we've kind of outgrown it as we've expanded, and we opened up a brand new Innovation Center right next door, also off of Belmont Avenue. We opened in December 2019, which was not the greatest time to open a new building with the pandemic approaching soon after, which we did have to close briefly, but we are open back up. We plan to stay open, and we're always accepting visitors. It's a disability competent space, so it has a very warm and welcoming and accessible environment. It hosts all of our ICS programs, so it really acts as like a home base for all of our programming. A lot of these programs and services take place in the community, so our employees and the people that we work with are kind of coming and going, and this is kind of a catch-all area where people can kind of come to me, feel safe, and socialize and get their needs met. In addition to our programming, we also feature a community space, which is just a general open area. We can kind of operate services in a less formal setting. It's open to the community. We have a cafe area that's accessible for anybody who comes in. We also feature a life lab, and this simulates a community-based home environment, which is really, really important for people transitioning from nursing home settings to independent living. And we also have an art gallery, which features originals and showcases all of the talents from the disability community as well. So like I said, we're here today to talk about our community services. The programs that we're going to be discussing today are Connections, which is our enhanced stay program, Journeys, which is our mobile peer partnership, Self-Determination Housing of Pennsylvania, who we merged with in February of 2021, Community Employment Services, which offers pre-employment and on-the-job training, and then Inglis Assistive Tech Solutions, which offers tech assessment, education, and support. So starting off, we're going to be talking about Connections Day program, and we're going to have Nicole Anders speak, who is also the director of the Innovation Center.
Thank you, Peyton, and welcome everybody. Thank you for having us. So as Peyton said, we have a day program at Inglis. We call it Connections Day Program, and it is housed in our Innovation Center. We just reopened in June of 2021 after the pandemic, and we are slowly growing and getting back to where we want to be in that day program. We're a specialized program in that we serve and support people who are younger. We're not a traditional older adult day program, and we're not specifically serving intellectual disability populations. We support people with all different abilities in our day program, but primarily serve younger adults. We have, pre-pandemic, we were serving 38 to 45 people a day. We had a lot of people in the program, and we had just moved, as Peyton said, when the Innovation Center opened in December of 2019. So our program was in the process of quickly growing and expanding in our new space. Unfortunately, we then had to close. We reopened. We are currently serving about 25 people a day in the day program, and again, slowly growing, but because of precautions and making sure that everybody is safe and everybody that wants to be there is safe, just slowly increasing the number of people who are able to come into the program and spend time with us. We our schedule in the day program. So our day program is we're open Monday through Friday. We're there from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we have many hours and lots of availability for people to come spend time with us. Their participants' schedules and how they spend their day, it's totally dependent on the participant, what their wants and needs are. So some folks come spend every day with us, Monday through Friday, they're there. Some folks are coming and spending, one day a week. It really just depends on what their needs are and what their wants are, how often they want to come. We do have participants in our day program that have been part of our program and part of our Inglis family in the community for over 20 years. It really is a very family-like setting, and the folks who come, really spend time getting to know each other and developing very close relationships and friendships. So it's it's not unusual that the folks who come to our day program, start our day program, stay with us for a very long time. So why are we different? So I mentioned that we're not a traditional day program. So besides kind of the population and the people that we're serving and supporting, we're also different in that we really work to meet the needs of the individual. So we're constantly assessing, planning, implementing, and evaluating what we're doing. And it's not just us doing that, we're doing that with the individuals we're serving and supporting. Any assessment, any plan that we do, we're not at we're the people that are supporting the person who is at the root of that plan. So we really try to create a meaningful day, whatever that looks like for an individual, and let that person have control over how they want to spend their time, what they want to do, and what that looks like for them. We really talk about goals, what people, does somebody want to work towards? How does somebody want to better themselves or achieve? And then how can we be a support person to help them achieve those goals? We do serve meals. We serve breakfast, lunch, and a snack in the afternoon. So we constantly, or every day, we do have kind of a structured schedule where we are serving meals. We have a computer lab, and part of that computer lab and being part of our program, you have access to our assisted tech program. So the folks who are utilizing our computer lab have the availability to use open computer time and do whatever it is that they need to do or want to do on the computer, as well as the ability to have somebody there who can teach them new skills, help them to kind of learn how to navigate other things on the computer if they want to. But we have a fully accessible lab that's right in our day program for people to utilize. We have a very cool sensory room, and it's a sensory room that was built for adults. Our participants in the day program actually had a lot of input into how we built that sensory room because we wanted to create a place that was going to be comfortable. They had a lot of input in how we created the whole space, but we wanted them to be comfortable and have a sensory room that was going to meet the needs of our clients, of our participants who have sensory input challenges. So we wanted a space where they could decompress, they could get away from the stimulating environment if they needed to, or a place where it was going to support their needs, whatever that meant for them. So we have a very cool sensory room that is built with lots of different lighting. We have aromatherapy. We have lots of different furniture that is meant to create a calming and relaxing environment, but it's also an adult space, and it's a very comfortable space. As I mentioned, we're open from 7 to 6, so we have extended hours. We have bathing facilities. So one of the things when we were researching what does our community need, lots of our participants came back and said we need a place to take a shower because our bathing at home, we don't have an accessible shower. We can't get into our bathroom. So they had or they don't have the staff at home to help them with the shower, or we have lots of folks who were alone a lot during the day, whether they lived alone or they're alone, when their loved ones or natural supports or other people in their family are out working or out doing other things. So they said they didn't feel comfortable taking a shower when they were home alone. So if they could have a place to take a shower that was safe and comfortable at the day program, they would like to do that. They have staff there who could help and support them, or they have the availability of staff if they have an emergency and they need help. So it wasn't always about, needing physical assistance. Part of it is just, needing a safety net, and we can just be that. We have a full-time nurse on staff, and that nurse is able to really kind of do things behind the scenes and promote the wellness and the health of the participants who are coming to the program. Sometimes that does mean, things like wound treatments, tube feeds, giving medications, managing diabetes, things that are, life-sustaining to the individuals coming to the program, but don't necessarily have to be at the cornerstone of their lives. It needs to be a part of their lives so that they can be healthy and well and part of their community, but it doesn't have to be the only focus. So by having a nurse who is at the program, that person can fully be engaged in their community while having a nurse who can step in and say, hey, why don't you come back to come back with me and we're gonna, do whatever we have to do so that you can get back to life. So. So this is a typical week. So I think this slide is interesting to show. So we do have a lot of structured activities that actually happen at the day program. So I talk a lot about individuals making choices and doing things that they want to do. But part of what we've discovered over time is that having a structure is really helpful for folks. So knowing, what's happening and where it's happening and when it's happening is always helpful. But within this, so this is our structured activity calendar. So we have a calendar every day. We have things that are scheduled. And then the behind the scenes is all the unstructured activities and programming that's happening, and the choices that are being made and how people are spending their day. But we have a recreation therapist on staff who is amazing at putting together really fun programs, with the input of all of she takes in everybody's input, and creates whatever people want to do. And then we work with this calendar, kind of shows you a snapshot of some of the outside organizations that we work with. We work with Acting Without Boundaries. They come in and do workshops. And then we have a music therapist who comes in and she does a sensory group as well as a general music therapy group, that people have the ability to participate in. To be part of our day program, so we serve adults, so people have to be over the age of 18 and live in the community. We don't serve anybody that lives in our long-term care. So everybody that comes to our day program lives at home, whatever home looks like to them. Common diagnoses of individuals that we support: multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, people with spinal cord injury, people who may have had a TBI, stroke, individuals with autism or intellectual disabilities are some of the most common diagnoses that we help to support in the day program. We support people of all levels of abilities. We have individuals who use wheelchairs for mobility, individuals who have different levels of cognition, and or ambulatory status. So we don't have, so we support, people where they are at whatever level of ability they have. Somebody does have to have a way to get to and from our program. I always mention that as one of our criteria because that can be a barrier in the greater Philadelphia and Philadelphia area. Most of our folks use SEPTA's CCT service, their paratransit service. And that is typically how people come and go to our program. Although there is, other transportation sources out there, but transportation can be a barrier for folks. So we do try to work with people to make sure that they have a way to get to and from the program, because that is one of the key pieces that they need. And I think that's my last slide, right?
Yep.
So I guess if anybody has any questions specifically about the day program, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, so I'm not hearing any questions or seeing any in the chat, but if anybody thinks of questions, I won't go anywhere.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, if there's any questions that come up throughout the presentation, we'll have time at the end for questions or comments. So if you think of one later, you can hold on to it and we'll come back. Next up, we're going to talk about journeys. We have Maria Bell, who is also the Director of Care Management and Behavioral Health Services, to talk more about the program.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. I just moved and I'm having trouble hearing some of you guys. So if you can't hear me, just let me know. Because it seemed like it was going in and out, and I haven't figured out my Wi-Fi yet. But hi, everybody. My name is Maria, and I'm here to talk about Journeys. Journeys is Inglis' first behavioral health program. So we are a team that supports people that are living with physical disabilities as well as a major mental health diagnosis. So some examples of diagnosis may be major depression, PTSD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. So there's a myriad of diagnoses that would qualify as a major mental health diagnosis. But we connect these individuals, our staff, with the individuals who are both have the physical disabilities as well as the mental health. We walk them through, individuals set their own goals. We help them whatever their goals may be. Our CPSs really provide a partnership with individuals in helping them manage their day-to-day lives, especially with mental health symptoms. One thing that Peyton mentioned earlier that we do is nursing home transition. You know, when you're moving from a skilled nursing facility or nursing home into independent living, there's a lot that's going on, a lot of anxiety that may come up, sometimes depression, a lot of things. So we help individuals be able to manage their mental health systems as well as their mental health symptoms and engage more with the larger community. So LCPSs, excuse me, L stands for long-term supports and services. It's kind of strange. It's 4 words, but we just use it with the L. And then CPS is certified peer specialist. So they are individuals, again, that have the dual diagnosis or that have a major mental health diagnosis, but they've gone through a state training to get certified to work with other individuals that have major mental health diagnoses. Our CPSs are a little bit different. That's why we add the L in there, because once we hire CPSs, we then have another training, which is about 80-hour training that they go through to really have them specialize in the physical disabilities world. So this way, by the time they're finished their training, they're able to maneuver the behavioral health world as well as the physical disabilities world. Health systems, as I'm sure we all know, can be very complicated and confusing and have a lot of red tape. So it's great to have, for individuals receiving services, to have somebody that can walk with them to help them maneuver these systems. The CPS service is a person-centered approach. It's an evidence-based practice. And we provide services through the lens of trauma-informed care, and knowing that we don't know everybody's story. We don't know exactly what everybody is going through, but just giving them that respect, and knowing that these are their lives, and however they want to receive services, that's how we will provide them. We want to ensure safety, choice, collaboration, and really empower them to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do. So some of the ways that we do that on a day-to-day basis is the LCPSs, we help provide transition planning from people changing living environments, whether it's from a family member's house to independent living, or whether it's from a skilled nursing home or a nursing facility into independent living. We help them maneuver the process of moving. And then once they've moved, we help them, there's skills that you need as far as, making sure your bills are paid and having the in-home supports that are there to support you. So we really help with the transition planning of that process. And then once somebody has moved, continue to support them. We help people build natural supports. It's important to have people that are in your corner that are going to help you, whether it's friends, family, the guy that works at the corner store that's taking a special interest in you, and you've developed a relationship with. We help people navigate resources to promote independence. Independence is major. And, people want to be independent. They don't want to feel like that they have to lean on other people all the time. So, we help people to be able to identify the resources for them to be able to have the level of independence that they choose. We help them with coping strategies. There's a lot that goes on with some of the mental health symptoms. And, if I'm feeling anxious, what do I do? Who do I call? Some of the things that we do is RAP planning, stands for Wellness Recovery Action Plan, so that people can identify maybe different times that happen in their life when they know they're not going to do as well. Well, before that time comes, let's put a plan in place so that we don't have to get to, a place where we don't want to be, and let's stay well and let's stay healthy. There's one example here, just a quote that one of the individuals that receiving services said is, when you have an LCPS, they've walked the same path as you. There's no judgment. Journeys helps me to be more independent. And that's really our goal, is to help people to be independent. So we launched in November of 2019, same as the Innovation Center. It was a rough time to launch. It was right before the pandemic hit. But we were able to continued to provide services all throughout the pandemic. We are a mobile service, so we go to people in their homes or wherever it is that they want to meet with us. We were able to operate through the pandemic. We did a lot of virtual visits and made sure that people had the technology needed so that they could do virtual visits. So that was a great accomplishment. Again, we specialize in transitions to community living. We work on building wellness toolkits to help individuals to be able to manage their mental health symptomology. And we really support people in fostering a sense of independence. So our criteria for our program, you have to be 21 years and older. You have to live in Philadelphia, be Medicaid eligible, have a qualifying mental health diagnosis, and have a physical disability. The way that with the physical disability, like Peyton had said earlier, we're known most for our skilled nursing facility. So sometimes people think, oh, well, maybe I have to be a wheelchair user in order to receive services. That's not true. Your physical disability is defined by the ADA. So as long as the ADA says that you have a physical disability, you will be able to qualify for our services. Here's our contact information here. It's our email, phone number. If you would like any other further information, application, anything of that nature, if you just have some questions. But I believe that is the last slide for me. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
No? Okay. All right. Thank you, Maria.
Sure.
Next up, we have Leah Marmo, who's the co-director of Self-Determination Housing of Pennsylvania, to talk a little bit more about their home modifications program.
Thanks, Peyton. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Leah Marmo. Like Peyton said, I'm one of the co-directors at SDHP, or Self-Determination Housing of Pennsylvania. Something interesting about SDHP is prior to February of 2021, we were actually our own standalone nonprofit entity. We're a statewide program, and our mission is to expand affordable, accessible housing options to folks with disabilities and older adults across the whole state of Pennsylvania. So it was a really wonderful and natural pairing to merge with Inglis, who shares a very similar mission. And the way that we fulfill that mission at SDHP is through two different programs underneath our program umbrella. One program is called the Regional Housing Coordinator Program, or the RHC program is what a lot of folks across the state refer to us as. And the RHC program is made up of about 15 folks. And these individuals are our staff members who provide education and technical assistance to communities around Pennsylvania regarding the technical assistance and training is around housing accessibility and affordability, and the need to bring the disability services world and the housing world together in the same conversation. And the team of 15 does a really good job at providing that type of education to folks. The other program SDHP has is our newer home modifications program. And we call it Home Modifications for Independence, or HMI. And this picture here is one of our RHC staff. His name is Howard, and he's giving a training at a landlord seminar. So the HMI program, or our newest program, Home Modifications Program, that is the umbrella name for the program. And underneath that, it consists of 3 different funding streams, or 3 different grants. We have funding from a national organization called the Craig H. Nielsen Foundation that focuses specifically on individuals with traumatic spinal cord injury. We have an award through the Department of Community and Economic Development, which is the Keystone Communities Program. And that program provides home mods across the state to individuals with any kind of disability and all disability. And then we also have an award through HUD for older adults ages 62 plus. And I'm going to get into specifics about each of these. A lot of them, as state and federal funds normally have, there's a lot of program eligibility requirements that go with each of these. but I'm really excited to talk through each of them with all of you. So next slide. So the Craig H. Nielsen Award, that's the home modification specifically for folks with traumatic spinal cord injury. Again, this is a statewide program. Geography does not matter. You just have to live in the state of Pennsylvania. There's no age limit. You can be a homeowner or a renter. And this program provides large scale modifications, redoing bathrooms and kitchens to make them more accessible, installing stair lifts, ramps, permanent or temporary, whatever the individual might need. We can really go into a person's house, talk to them, assess their home, really understand what they are looking for, and then work towards meeting that need with a modification. The older adult program for 62 plus is through the HUD Award. These individuals need to be homeowners, and there's 2 locations that we're operating that program in. One is in central Pennsylvania. We're covering 9 counties in central PA. And then the other location is in West Philadelphia. There's a certain subset of zip codes that we're able to pinpoint and serve homeowners in that area. These modifications for older adults are smaller in nature. They're low cost, high impact mods, such as grab bars, railings, temporary ramps, transfer benches, non-slip strips in the bathtub or going up and down a stair. We can also do lighting adaptations, anything that an older adult might need to age safely in their home. And then our other award is through Department of Community Economic Development. And this one provides larger scale modifications similar to the SCI program. And this one is also across the whole state of Pennsylvania. We do have to give priority to counties that do not have a home modification program already. But if we do get a referral from someone who is in a county that has funds, we're not going to say no. We're going to be able to work with them in some way. With this grant, there's no age limit. One of the things we can't work with is if a person is enrolled in a managed care organization through UPMC, AmeriHealth Caritas, or PA Health and Wellness. Oftentimes they're already linked to services through those organizations. So we would direct them to their programs first before we would be able to help them with funding. And like I said, these are larger scale mods, ramps, stair lifts, accessible bathrooms and kitchens. These are just some photos I wanted to show. One of our recent home modification recipients, her name is Anne. She was an adult, I believe her mid-40s with cerebral palsy. She was a wheelchair user, but also was able to use a walker in her home. But she lived in a home that was never equipped with modifications or any type of accessibility adaptation. So she needed a lot done in her home, and we were able to serve her in the ways that we could. So one of these pictures is her bathroom floor was in really bad shape, and she needed a replaced toilet. So we're able to replace the toilet, replace the flooring in her bathroom, and then give her a handrail, grab bars on the side of her toilet, but also was able to flip up so that she can get around the toilet more easily. And then there's a picture of her bathtub here, not too accessible for what she was going through and living with, but we were able to install a lower threshold shower here. And outside of the picture, there's also a grab bar that it was a lower grab bar that she could access. We lowered one of the shelves, and then the shower head is also very low too. So that's an example. We also installed a stair lift in her house to be able to help her access this second floor bathroom. And then we placed handrails on her hallway going into her bathroom to help guide her down her hallway to access her bathroom as well. So those are just some examples, but we have a lot of opportunities for folks. Again, this program is newer. All of these awards came in at about eight months, over the past 8 months. So we're really doing a lot of outreach to get this information out to folks who might need it, and anything that we could do to pass along more information, we'd be happy to do so. So here's our contact information, but we can definitely follow up with more programmatic material and eligibility so that you guys can get that out to your networks. I think there's questions coming in. Do you guys see any of these?
I see the chat, but I think if I open it, it might open up the whole screen. Is anyone else able to check the chat?
Yeah.
or-
Yeah, I can see it. The first one says, what about property or school tax breaks for the disabled?
I am not sure. I don't know if I know much about that. Is there a more of a question around that?
Says, I'm in a situation where I inherited my grandmother's house but can't afford to pay the bills and may need to sell. Property school taxes may force me to sell my house.
So we don't have programs that could speak to that, but we do have a lot of additional resources that we might be able to point you towards. So we're always happy to talk through those options. Our home mods line is always open. You can always email us too, but we're happy to talk over the phone with potential resources in the area that we can point you towards.
And there's something, Michael popped up in the chat box that said, I have my own house and can't get support for going out of my house. It's hard to move or to get off my porch. I need people to help guide me down too much.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of need is what our programs may be able to cover depending on, again, the eligibility. But even if our 3 programs can't, we might be able to direct you to someone who can. So please feel free to reach out, email us or call us, and then we can get you connected. If you're eligible, that would be wonderful. And if not, we can put you in the right direction.
Great. That was all that came up in the chat box.
Okay, great. And if anyone else has any other questions as we go through, feel free to reach out to us or we can talk at the end too. But I'll hand it back over to Peyton.
Thank you, Leah, and thanks, Maria, for fielding the chat. We're going to talk about our community employment services now, and I'm going to hand it over to Jamie Moshe. She's the Senior Director of all community programming at Inglis.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us this evening. I am not sure if my video is working well. I may be kind of jumping around all over the place, and I apologize for that. So, you know, if you need to just not see me, that's okay. I am over our community employment services, and I actually partner with all the services you learned about today, but specifically, I can dive in deep with our employment services. The point of our program is to ensure that people with disabilities of any kind have the chance, the accommodations, the support, the coaching that they would need to find a job that is meaningful to them, get it, and keep it. So we work with any number of individuals, providing them with services to prepare for a job, really dive into their own interests and find out what sorts of jobs would be a good match for that, and then assisting them to get the services that they need, or just partnering with them to walk through the process of getting employment, which is stressful for everyone. And when you're someone with a disability who may also need to ask for accommodations, it can be even more stressful. So we are here to partner with that. Some of the services we offer include a career assessment, which would be an interest assessment, a skills assessment, finding jobs, job coaching, which means we go on the job with you. And as you learn the position and what is needed, we provide you with any tools or skills to help you accomplish those tasks and expectations more efficiently and effectively. We would also pair up and make sure if you needed specific accommodations through assistive technology or different devices, chairs, computer desks, all kinds of things. We would partner with you until those things were done. And we'd also help the employer that you are now working for to understand your situation and figure out how to partner with you themselves in order to help everybody reach their goals. It's important for us that everyone has a chance at employment, what they call competitive integrated employment, which means that the same jobs that are available to people without disabilities are available and made possible for people with disabilities as well. So getting a job is not only about getting a resume out the door. It is about a lot of different things that we already talked about, and it's a cycle of things. So you may put a whole plan together that says, this is what I want to do. I'm going to accomplish all these things to get ready. I'm going to interview and get a job. I'm going to keep my job, but then something might change. Your abilities might change. Your interests might change. Or you may be promoted to a job that now has different tasks and different responsibilities. And so we want to be there with you the whole time, both on and off the job, just so that you know when it's time for change in your life, that you don't have to become unemployed to go through that change. So we have this gentleman that you're looking at here. His name is Johnny. And Johnny has someone living with a disability. And he had a hard time keeping a job because of this. He had skills. He was a licensed forklift driver, but could not maintain employment because of his disability. He came into our services, and we were actually able to employ him at a job that is an Inglis job. And not only through job coaching and job mentoring was he able to excel at his new job, but he has been with us now for, I think, over 6 years. But 4 years in, he had become a supervisor. He oversees 7 teams of approximately 25 people total. And he is holding the quality measures, the training, and job coaching himself. He has become certified as a job coach so that those that he is supporting now, he also has the skills for them to have success as well. So Johnny is a real success story for us. And it's not just his story that's important, it's understanding that our job is to help everyone become a Johnny. Where your job is, where you want to go is available to you. And as people with disabilities, we sometimes forget or don't know how to reach those and how to overcome the barriers and reach the goals that we see other people doing.
Jamie, this is our last slide for community employment. So I just want to open it up for questions, just focused on community employment right now. No? Okay.
So I know that when it comes to employment, a lot of people shy away from trying to get employment because they're afraid of losing essential benefits that they have. Those benefits have income thresholds, and people are afraid to get a job, or they've been told not to get a job because they could lose their benefits. I want you to know that that is not true, that there are plenty of employment opportunities and plenty of ways to maintain the benefits that you have and you need to keep for your wellness. So just as kind of like an end point to community services, we are not only interested in helping you become employed if you're interested, but also making sure that what you currently have in place, which is essential to your health and well-being, is maintained.
Jamie, I actually had a question.
Sure.
How is this program different than or similar to OBR? So as a therapist, I was constantly told about recommending OBR. This program I'm new with, but I feel like it would be so fitting for so many individuals that I work with.
So the good news is that OVR is the payer. So individuals get referred to OVR, And then once they're accepted into OVR, they are referred to an agency like Inglis for the actual work to happen. So OVR becomes the kind of government, community, county gatekeeper to receiving these services. So OVR is the first step, and then they would refer to Inglis to actually provide the services.
Thank you so much.
All right, if you are good to go, Jamie, I'm going to switch gears to assistive tech.
Sure.
Okay. So Inglis Assistive Tech Solutions is the next program we're going to talk about. The director of that program is Charles San Martino, but he could not be here tonight, so speaking for him is going to be Jamie Moshe.
And I'm back. Hi, everybody. So hopefully you're not bored of listening to me at this point, but Inglis Assistive Tech Solutions is a really unique and innovative program that the entire focus is about increasing and improving independence and quality of life in your own home. Technology is a part of our lives. As we went through the pandemic, we became more and more reliant on it. And Inglis Assistive Tech Solutions is really looking to be out in the community and making available adaptive devices, assistive devices, teaching about computer programs, internet security, social media. Also, sometimes someone needs to learn a particular business program. We can help with that. And we can also help with technology-based home assistance. So we do, we'll come in, we do an assessment, we look at the needs, we see what you're trying to accomplish. And this could be anything from needing a way to pick up a pan on a stove, needing a way to feed yourself. So it could be as simple as that, where there just needs to be some assistance in, holding a fork might be tough, but if the fork was shaped differently and was uniquely fitted to you, you wouldn't need someone to feed you. And so that seems like kind of a simple, not a lot of people have that issue, thank God. But it could be as simple as doing daily living activities to doing really, technology heavy, following those interests. This would even go along with gaming. So we know that everybody is kind of involved with video games these days. If you're not a gamer, you probably know someone who is a gamer. It's not always easy to utilize those games or engage in those games if there's not assistance or adaptation to the tools needed to engage. Video gaming also has a huge social component these days. Lots of people are, find friends, have relationships with people that they're gaming with. And especially during the pandemic, when we're not able to get out and about as easily, that's a great tool for support. So you may need to have assistance with something that's really about a basic life skill, or you may just want to have some fun, but not be able to access it well. And Inglis Assistive Tech is there to help get you over that hump and through that barrier. So all of our staff are assistive technology professionals, and that's a nationally recognized certification. Which means that they have gone through an entire training program and passed a board exam in order to provide the service that they provide. So the individuals coming to your house or meeting you at a site to assist you are not necessarily just people who are fun techie people, but they are people who have been trained on how to assess and determine the best device and the best adaptations needed to meet your needs. What you see here is a list of things. It's not inclusive, but it highlights some of the common types of assistance and education that we're often asked to do. Getting the right kind of hardware, setting it up, navigating social media, the internet, online shopping, banking, managing healthcare appointments online, video calling, adapted gaming, like I just talked about. And then the thing that tends to get everybody's ears up is smart home setup and use. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our smart home use, which is what you're looking at in the picture there. We have gone through and developed a lot of ways to incorporate smart home technology into people's homes, either by building it in, which we have done in some of our properties that Inglis has built over time, or providing it after the fact. Things like temperature regulation, thermostats, light bulbs, ovens, refrigerators, door locks, Ring doorbells, TV controls, smart blinds, and that's just a few of them. And the reason that we're really focused on this is some of this technology can really help maintain safety and allow for additional independence for someone when previously that wasn't possible. For instance, if you are in your living room and you're watching TV and someone knocks on your door, it could take a while for you to be able to get to the door. If you have a Ring doorbell, you could quickly see on your cell phone or a nearby device who's at the door, and you could tell Alexa to unlock the door and open it once you see who it is and if it's someone you want to let in. Also, calling for emergency services can be possible, and even getting daylight in your apartment if raising blinds is difficult. Again, the idea of people who are struggling to reach things or use full extent of their arms and the length of their body can really be helped by these different smart homes. The challenge with smart home stuff, though, is it's not so easy. It's very shiny and exciting, but it can get really complicated. Every device that you put in, it comes from its own company, has its own app, has its own username and password with it. So getting the setup right, getting the connections to your voice hub, like in Alexa, functioning well, and keeping it moving while they all update at different times and with different types of updates can be really complicated and causes people to stop using it or feel as though smart home really isn't for them. And what we will do is we will come in, we will help you set it up. We will determine with you the best brands of those devices that are suited best for your abilities and your needs. And then we'll continue to support you with it. So over time, if something stops working, you can call up and say, Alexa's not listening, or I've told it to do the blinds and it's telling me it can't tell the blinds what to do. And we will be able to continue to provide that support and hands-on. In the picture, you're seeing one of our educators showing how a smart light bulb switch would work through an Alexa by saying, Alexa, turn on my lights. And the individuals there are individuals from our housing communities who are interested in this and are starting to learn what it means and what the possibilities are for them. It's really broad what Inglis assistive tech solutions can provide. And so if you have any technology or adaptive equipment, assistive equipment questions, needs, desires, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to come and assess and do what we can to help you gain or maintain independence and continue in your home or in your life the way you wish.
Thank you, Jamie. So just to wrap up, those are all of our programs. As you can see and hear, we offer a wide range of services, but they all do fall under that Inglis umbrella. Each of these programs clearly serve a different purpose and need, but we all, at the end of the day, are operating towards the same mission. And like I said, we're stationed out of the Innovation Center. So if you are in the area, you ever want to stop by and check us out, you're more than welcome. But at this time, I think we're just going to open it up for any general questions about Inglis, anything we talked about today, specific to the programs. Feel free to use the chat or unmute yourself if you can.
So a question had come up in the chat. I don't know the answer, but I thought maybe one